Claude can help you automate so many things, but if there is one thing you probably need help with, is marketing. And that's because marketing covers so much. There's branding, content, SEO, social media, and much, much more. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to use Claude as your company's marketing manager. So I will show you how to get Claude to understand your brand, and that includes how to use Claude to create blogs, but also social media images and videos that you can use across all of your marketing channels. So let's get right into why you're here. The first thing you need to know is that you will need a paid subscription for Claude to be an effective marketing assistant. Because as you can see right here, Claude Code and Claude Cowork are only available under, at the very least, the Pro plan. And you will need these two in order to use all the functionalities that Claude has to give. And then secondly, you're going to need a Claude desktop app. So when you already have the app, it will look something like this. You want to make sure that you're in the Cowork tab when you're enabling these skills. So what you're going to do is go right here to the left-hand side to the Customize button. And then you'll see here that I already have a personal plugin of marketing. But I want to add another one. So I'm going to click on the plus sign, click here, and you can see at the top that marketing is already installed. But I'm going to scroll down and I'm also going to add brand voice. And since I'm here, I'm going to need later for myself sales. So I'll just add it right here. Now, once you've added these plugins, you will see that they will appear right here under marketing. And if you click on one of them, for example, let's click on marketing, you will see that inside of that plugin, there's a bunch of skills. In the case of the marketing one, the description is create content, plan campaigns, and analyze performance across marketing channels, which is partially what you want Claude to do as a marketing manager. And then within it, you can see here that there's a bunch of skills, and that includes brand review, campaign plan, and a lot more. And then if you click on connectors, you will see that there's a number of preset connectors that you can install and then leverage as part of that skill. I spoke about this in my previous video about Claude Cowork and how you can use connectors to essentially get Claude to literally work on your behalf. But in this case, I'm not going to go through it in detail. All you can see here is that, for example, Google Calendar, it doesn't appear the install button. That's because I already have it installed, but I could install any other. Now, what you want to do is to go back to your Claude Cowork main tab. So you want to click on your task. And then if you click on /, you can invoke different skills inside of the plugins that you just added. So marketing, there's a bunch of them here inside. And if you hover over them, you can get a short description of what those skills are. You can see here brand voice, which we just added, as well as sales. With that, you already have the baseline that you need to start working on the first type of marketing assets, and that is text-based assets. I like to break down marketing between three core skills. One is producing text-based elements, such as blogs, captions for your social media, LinkedIn posts, and more. Then you have images. So for example, images for your Instagram, images for your LinkedIn, images for your website. And then you have videos. And videos include, for example, content for YouTube, content for TikTok, product explainer videos, and more. And right now I'm going to start with text. So I'm going to show you how to use Claude to produce text-based marketing assets. So you're going to hit / under Cowork, and then you're going to type guideline generation. And as you can see right here, this skill generates, creates, or builds brand voice guidelines from source materials. And so you're going to click on it, and then you're going to say, create the brand guidelines for this brand. And you're going to copy the link of your website. In my case, my website is leadlanding.dev, which if you don't know yet, it is a website that allows you to build landing pages with a simple prompt or by choosing a template and adjusting it with prompting and then publishing it with a single click. This is super useful if you're trying to validate an idea or if you're trying to collect leads as well, because these one-page websites that you produce come with a form, and then you can get analytics on it, which come embedded already, as well as your leads, which you can export to Excel with a single click. So make sure to go ahead and check it out. But I digress. Going back to the main schedule, you copy the link, you go here, you paste it, and then you hit go. And you'll see that Claude will start going through your website and start fetching different pages and trying to understand more about your brand. So what kind of text do you use? How's your brand's voice? Are you assertive? Are you direct? Are you humble? Are you funny? And so this is important because if you produce content as generic AI, then every time you build a LinkedIn post or write a blog, it's going to come across as very bland. And you don't want that, right? Your brand is a unique entity, has a voice, has a style, and Claude will be able to understand that style if you feed your source material. Now, this could be a PDF, but in this case, I find it easier to just feed it my website. So Claude will think about it, and it'll take a couple of minutes, but eventually it'll produce an output like this. You can see here on the right-hand side, there is progress, so you can see what Claude did, and a short summary here in text. But if you scroll down, you will find that Claude left you a document. And if you click on it, it opens on the right-hand side. And here you can see the summary, how Claude interprets your website. So you can always correct it if needed. But in this case, Lead Landing is a speed-first AI-powered landing page builder built for early-stage founders and marketers who need to validate ideas fast. That's pretty spot on. And then if you scroll down, you can see what we are not. So Claude does this thing where he identifies what you are, so you follow those directions, but he also identifies what you're not. So they definitely make sure that they are not, in this case, hype-driven or generic or even arrogant. Because the last thing you want to do is get Claude to produce some marketing content and it's completely out of touch, completely the opposite of what your brand is. And if you keep scrolling down, you'll see different things that Claude highlights, such as attributes, personality, and more. And now when you get to this point, Claude already fully understands your brand and made an assessment of how to perform tasks in the brand tone and the brand voice of your brand. So what I want to do in this case is go to Claude and say, build me a launch announcement, LinkedIn post for Lead Landing. Make sure to use the brand tone you already know about the brand. And then Claude's going to go ahead and within a few seconds, it's going to be able to run the skill, which is one of the skills within the marketing plugin, and produce this. We built Lead Landing because we were tired of the same problem. You have an idea, you want to test it, etc., etc. And then what's really interesting is that it not only writes the post for you, but if you scroll down, it actually justifies why it wrote it that way. So you can see here, it opens the first person founder voice, which is warm and direct. And then it goes for a short, punchy sentence, high energy, zero filter. And so this is really good because it allows you to understand the rationale behind Claude's decisions. This is a quick example of how you can use this skill in specific to produce written content. Now, of course, I use it for a LinkedIn post because it's short, it's fast for the purpose of the video. But you can use this for blogs, for example. Especially if you want to boost your SEO, you will probably be writing a lot of content. You don't want to write it yourself, but if you use generic AI, every time you write a blog, it will sound very generic. It will have no personality to it. The AI detectors will flag it right away, and it just won't feel like it's part of your brand. So you want to make sure you do this first. You run this plugin, you identify your brand tone, and then you get Claude to create an appropriate blog. And then, of course, there's so many other text elements for your website, such as, for example, the copy that you use on your website. Maybe you want to create new pages with this. Maybe the captions for your social media, you want to use this. And the emails that you write when you're representing your brand to clients, customers, investors, and so on. Now that we've covered text-based assets, I want to move to images. And let me show you how you can make it work. So the first thing you'll have to do under co-work is go to Customize, and then go to Skills, and make sure you have this toggled on, because you will need to use a skill and you may need to create one as well. Then I want you to go to Code. And if you're on a paid plan, you are able to use both co-work and Code. And you're going to come here, and you're going to hit / and then Web Asset Generator. And you can see right here that a Web Asset Generator allows you to create web assets, including favicons, app icons, and social media images, which is going to be super important. And if you don't yet have the Web Asset Generator skill installed, just go here to my website, which I'll leave the link in the description. And then you can go here to Posts, scroll down, go to this post, and number 5 is Web Asset Generator right here. So you can copy the skill from this link right here. The link will be in the description, as I said, so you'll be able to copy it from there. And in case you're a little bit confused when you're doing it, I made this video right here where I show you how to download a skill and how to use it as well. So make sure to go check it out. I'll leave the link in the description. Now, once you have the Web Asset Generator skill installed, all you have to do is hit / select it, and then you're going to ask Claude to do something on your behalf. In my case, I'm going to say, create a new logo for my website. Then I'm going to go again to my website, leadlanding.dev. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste it right here. And Claude inevitably will start working on it, will start thinking, it will review my website. And something that Claude Code does with this skill is actually ask you questions to better understand your request. So the first question it's going to ask me is, what type of logo mark do you want? Do I want an icon plus a word mark only, icon only, initials? So I can just select for this case. First option is fine. Which visual concept for the Lead Landing fits the Lead Landing brand? I'm going to say a rocket / a launch, which is kind of what I already have. And what web assets do you need alongside the logo? In this case, I'm going to say favicons, app icons. Yeah, so I want all of them just to see what it produces. And then it's going to go ahead, it's going to ask me for a couple of permissions, and this process will take a couple of minutes to be ready. And eventually it will give me this output right here, which was automatically saved in a folder that I'm working within my Claude Code. So I can see it right here. This was the logo that it created. So it's both an icon and a word mark like I selected. And these are the other images that it produced. Now, admittedly, these are not amazing. And if I'm being honest, I probably keep my existing logo over this one. As you can see here, I think it's a little bit prettier. But the point is that with a couple of prompts, you are able to create images that fit the purpose that you need them to. Just to give you another quick example, which is probably more familiar to a lot of you, you can create an Instagram post. So I'm going to go to Claude and I'm going to say, now use the same skill, which I call it via a /, to create me an Instagram post to announce we have a 20% launch offer. And again, Claude will start thinking, it'll start executing on that skill. It may ask me a couple of questions, and eventually it will give me this output right here, which was again saved in my folder. I'm just going to move it here. And if I open it, perfect, here we go. So it created me a static image with a launch offer, just like I said, of 20% off. And you can use this exact same method to produce images for any sort of device and any sort of social media platform. And I'm sure you're going to create content that is much prettier than the one that I just did. All right, so we've covered text, we've covered images. Now it's time for us to cover videos. How do you actually create videos from prompting? Now, I made a completely different video, which is right here. I'll leave the link in the description, about how to use the Remotion skill to create videos from prompting. I go through it in a lot more detail, from how to install it to how to actually use it for different social media channels. So you might want to check that out. But fairly quickly, what you have to start by doing is making sure that you go back to Cowork. And you can see right here, I've already set it up, so I can't re-download it, but I will show you quickly of how I did it. So if you go back to my website, you hit posts, and then you scroll down, you'll find this blog. You click on it, and you can see here that I share all of the instructions of how to download Remotion and how to start using it. But in short, if you click here and then you click on this button, it's copied, then you go back to Claude and then you say install Remotion, and then you just paste what you copied. And Claude will do its thing and it will download Remotion, which is the skill that allows for videos to be created. From the moment it's installed, you can then go ahead and get Claude to start producing content. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to say, use Remotion to build me a short 5-second video with the Claude colors. Also add somewhere the Claude mascot, because why not? And then the video should be in a YouTube format. So Claude knows roughly which dimensions you want the video to be in, because you can make horizontal content, you can make vertical content for TikTok or Instagram, etc. And then when I hit go, Claude will go ahead, we'll work on it for a couple of minutes, and it'll produce me this output. I'm going to open it right here. I'm going to bring the folder, and this is what it looks like. A 5-second video bringing the cards with each one of the words that I said I wanted, and it's with the Claude theme. It's the colors of Claude. So that's exactly what I wanted, and that's exactly what I got. 5-second video strictly from prompting. And you can imagine the quantity of videos that you're able to produce with this skill in specific. You can use it to build product explainers, videos for your website, videos for your Instagram, for your TikTok, and so much more. So this was a quick explainer of how you can use Claude to automate 80% of your marketing content creation work. Hopefully you found enough value in this video to give it a like, to comment down below with any questions that you have, and to subscribe to the channel because it helps me a lot. And I also have a lot of amazing videos coming up about Claude and automations coming soon. So make sure again to give it a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.